All right. Well, today, everyone, we are joined by Kenyan filmmaker, producer, director Faith Musembi, who brings African's wildlife. No, let me try that again. Today, we are joined by Kenyan filmmaker, producer, and director Faith Musembi. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, nailed it.
Awesome. Thanks. Whose work brings Africa's wildlife to screen through deeply human and character-driven storytelling. Faith is part of the team behind Nat Geo's highly anticipated new docuseries Lion, which is airing Sunday, August 19th on Nat Geo, and then drops Monday, August 20th on Disney and Hulu. 4 years in the making, Lion focuses on one lion's epic journey from tiny cub to king. Some of Faith's other wildlife films include Queens on Nat Geo and Disney Plus, which focuses on matriarchal societies like elephants, hyenas, lions. Incredible Animal Journeys, also on Nat Geo and Disney Plus, and Chasing Rains, which explores how animal families in Kenya's wildlands survive dramatic cycles of drought and seasonal rainfall. So, Faith, I'm so excited for you to be here today, and I was hoping you could give our listeners just a little background about yourself. Did you always want to work with wildlife?
Thanks for that intro.
Thanks for
Reaching
being
out.
here. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm so stoked.
I am so excited. Thanks for having me. So a little background about myself. As you mentioned, I am Kenyan. And one of the things that maybe people may not know is it's a unique thing for a Kenyan or an African to work on any wildlife series, which is kind of it might uh yeah have people asking, wait a minute. I mean, these animals are being filmed in Africa, so why would an African not be uh, why would it be a rare occurrence for the Africans to work on them? But it's because of how the industry's been set up. It was established in England, and typically when something is established somewhere, that's where it tends to do well, or yeah, like where things bloom where they're planted, right? So growing up, I didn't see any representation of anyone, any African producing or directing anything. But I don't also at the same time didn't feel like I was missing anything until I always call it a happy coincidence or happy occurrence where I had an opportunity to work on a live show that was a live wildlife show that was filming in the Mara. And then once my foot was on the door, and I'm looking around and I'm going, oh, wait a minute, I actually love this and I want to work in this industry. And then kind of realizing some of the limitations to working in the industry. And part of that was requiring me to move to the UK to be able to come back to Kenya to film wildlife. But that's just the nature of how the industry is, how it works. But since then, I've been inspired to think, okay, great. Well, how can we make this industry more inclusive so that other African filmmakers can work on it and not necessarily feel they have to move to the UK? How do we crack that? So I've been working with some people from the UK to try to figure out, okay, how do we do this? How do we change how the machinery's been working for all these years?
And Faith, if you can just touch on briefly, why is it so important to have African filmmakers telling African wildlife stories?
Yeah, I mean, for several reasons, I think it's so important with the current state of the world, and this is something that everyone is recognizing. The climate's not doing all that well, and it's not a political thing, it's just facts. You look at Europe, it's burning right now. There are areas in South Africa where it's freezing, they're getting snow, and you're going, wait, what? The cyclones in the US and the Caribbean. I mean, earthquakes in South America, that terrible earthquake that has just wrecked so many lives in Colombia and also recently in Venezuela. So across the board, we the climate's not doing well, and we need as many people involved in the telling of these stories. The stories can't just be coming from one area of the world. It's all hands on deck. We
Yeah.
need everybody actively telling stories, because the thing that stories do is it first of all it stories can be informational, educational, but they suck you in. A good story suck you in, immerse you, and you'll feel some type of way. It
Mhm.
changes your heart. You'll fall in love with something, and when you love something, you tend to care about it and want to do something about it. So ultimately, by having more African voices, we're going to have people telling stories in a way that resonates with African audiences, and a lot of the, especially the Africans that live next door to the wildlife. And we're hoping that will change that relationship, because right now there's a deep disconnect where a lot of people on the ground feel like, oh, that's like wildlife, we that's not our thing, that's the foreigners' thing, whatever that means. So now people start feeling like, hang on, we also care for the wildlife. So that's the grand ambition to why it's important to for African voices to tell these stories.
Well, and the Lions docuseries was beautiful. I felt all of the emotions, and we're going to dive into that shortly. So your team did a wonderful job. But really quick, I was
Mhm.
wondering, with all of the wildlife filmmaking that you've done,
Yeah.
do you have a favorite animal or a favorite interaction from all these years of work?
Yeah, I do. I really love the elephant. There's just something about being there with when you make eye contact with an elephant, when they come close to the car and they look at you, there's someone looking. There's a connection you feel that you don't necessarily feel with other animals. Um, and yeah, there's a depth, and it's a feeling really to have that interaction with elephants. And my favorite interaction, one of my favorites, because there's so many, um, is I was on Queens actually. I was sat in a car, and almost 300 and probably over 300 elephants surrounded me. It was a wet season. There was lots of food, and they'd come down to this area where they would all just basically graze on the grass, and they just surrounded my vehicle, and all I could hear was just like them pulling up the grass and eating, and the just yeah, blowing out air, and just something you can't even, it's impossible to describe the feeling of the trust that they had in me, that I'm not
Mhm.
going to do
Yeah.
anything stupid. They brought their little calves really close to the car. So
Mhm.
that was really special. And episode 7 of Queens, I talk about my relationship with this lovely little elephant called Selenge that just stole my heart.
Mhm. Well, I will tell you that the Lion docuseries stole my heart. I love elephants too; they're some of my favorite. But this docuseries, for me, and I'm sure for most of our listeners when they watch it, it
Mhm.
was the most riveting, binge-worthy that I've seen in a long, long time. I stayed up way past my bedtime, watched all 4 episodes in a row. I kid you not. I was on the edge of my seat. There were moments of awe. I was smiling, tears, hope, all of the things.
Mhm.
Maybe not quite as close as being in a vehicle surrounded by 300 elephants, but darn near close, if I dare say.
Oh yeah.
So, uh, I was hoping you could give our listeners just a brief summary of what the Nat Geo's 4-part docuseries Lion is about.
hmm So, I mean, just to say this really quickly, even though I've had that experience with elephants, I've also had it with lions as well. There's just something very special about having this huge, magnificent being, just being in their presence.
So
And
powerful, yeah.
yeah, yes. So Lion is essentially Keo's story, and we follow him from when he's a cub all the way to when he is a full-grown male. And the thing about male lions is they go through so many challenges
Yeah.
because that's their life. They're born into a life of strife, and they have to find their place. It's not an option. They all have to do it. It involves having to assert themselves, having to fight, and we basically follow Keo and we immerse you in his world as he makes his way through all of that.
Yeah, I think immerse is a really good word because
Hmm.
I mean, by chapter two and definitely by chapter three, I could recognize him out of everyone. By the end, by the last episode, I felt like he was my own child, and maybe it's because my youngest is going off to kindergarten this year or something, but I felt like I was part of that pride, and it's just it's really brings everything alive, all the dynamics, the family issue, the drama, the trauma, the hope. So when you were filming chapter two, that's the Band of Brothers episode,
Hmm.
Faith, was there a moment when you witnessed like, oh my gosh, I'm really witnessing something very special here?
I would say across the whole series, and I'll tell you why. So it's very difficult to follow a male lion cub,
Yeah.
um, because they get to a point, and then they once they're sexually mature, they have to go off and find their own territory because that's what they have to do, uh, which is great for the pride because it means they're not reproducing with family members, which is good for the gene pool. So being able to film him from beginning to end because I was present for all the filming, so I directed all that. I was one of the directors in all the episodes. Um, and we kept coming back and he's still there and he's still there and he's alive because that's the other challenge is cubs
Right.
have a really low survival rate.
Yeah.
So that in itself, because it was that like that disbelief of, oh my gosh, he's still here and we're still filming and he's getting bigger and he's getting bigger. And there'd be that fear of, okay, well, now that he's big, his brothers are gonna leave. And then and then they do leave. And then you go, oh no, what's gonna happen to Keo? So that whole process really was, our hearts were always in our throat about what happens next. And after a while, like the awe starts taking over where you go, oh my word, this is the story we're getting, which we would have never been able to even pitch to anyone to begin with. And the fact that that's what we're getting, then the excitement takes over the whole team because there was a whole team working on this. And we're going, oh my gosh, he's alive. And we filmed him um, for all these years. And we think we've got the story now. So I know that's a broad answer, but genuinely being able to film him, all those moments were just awe-inspiring and dropping moments.
It's just such an incredible journey and story. Uh, and in regards to lion behavior, I know
Mhm.
that family is such a huge part of Keo's
Mhm.
story. There's a lot of other players in the game, like his mom Summer, and like you said, the brothers.
Yeah.
Uh, but is there a particular behavior or relationship between the Lion brothers, or even his mom, that you think the audience might find surprising?
Um, I think the I'm trying to think um what would kind of be like I am always taken my breath was always taken away seeing how gentle these especially the males are with each other.
Yes, I agree. I've never seen
'Cause-
footage like that for like
Mhm.
that consistency. Oh yeah, is incredible.
Yeah, because I think anytime anyone's in the wild, you really have to be there for a long time to be able to get like that, what I refer to as special source behavior. Because there's like the common stuff, you'll see them walking and looking majestic, you'll see them fighting because they're quite, they have to be really aggressive to hold on to their territory. But seeing those gentle moments where it's just like the soft moments where they're like, okay, come here, you. And then grooming with such tenderness. I mean, I'd say that's probably what's going to surprise people is just
Yeah.
that amount of tenderness that these males can show each other on the back of just being so kind of like not violent, but like aggressive.
Yeah, and it's also incredible to me that your film crew spent over 4 years and 1,400 hours in the
Yeah.
field.
Hmm.
That to me
Yeah.
is incredible. That statistic is just mind blowing. And so, Faith,
Hmm.
I was hoping maybe you could discuss some of the challenges of being out there that long and staying with
Hmm.
the animal that long. How, how does that? I mean, I've spent at one time the most I've spent out in the bush in a tent, a pretty nice one, was 7, 8 days. So I was wondering if you could touch on how y'all did it.
Yeah. Well, for starters, we had a huge team. I mean, that's the joy of being able to work on a documentary like this for Nat Geo is, you're going to be able to have a big team.
Mhm.
And so we had rolling shoots. So thankfully, no one person spent all that time in the field. We had crews cycling in because also people have families, people
Sure.
have, yeah, some people are parents and they have to get back to their spouses, children, pets. So we had crews that rolled in. So we had a lot of people going on location to direct, and you have other producers on board for this. So that's one of the ways we're able to do it. A team would be out there for between 3 to 4 weeks,
Mhm.
and then they would leave, and a new team would come in, and one of the ways we made sure that everybody is on the same page is whoever was on location directing, we'd send the team at large really detailed notes,
Mm.
almost like it would read like a soap opera, like the Bridgerton. Do you
Sure.
read it?
I love it. Uh,
Yeah, so it'd be like Keo did this and he did that, and that was useful because we've
yes.
got the challenge of having so many different people come in can be that you lose track of some things,
Sure.
but because we were writing such detailed notes, and we also had a team called edit assistants. So when we come back from the field with all the footage, what we call rushes, with all the rushes, they kind of arrange the footage according to our notes. So we had, yeah, like a timeline going of
Yeah.
all the things that Summer has done, Keo. So it also helped the team, like the other producers, and we also had a series producer who was across all 4 episodes, so
Mhm.
she could go in and see. So this is what's been filmed, and it helped her steer the different episodes
Okay.
and yet to tell the different stories. But the challenges though were like we had to know which line is which line. You can't just
Yes.
rock up.
Yeah.
I love that you said that you could by episode 4 you
Yep.
could identify the different lions.
Definitely. I felt like
'Cause
he was my own child.
yeah, well,
That's how bonded I was watching from cub to king.
mhm,
And but yes, in theory, you'd be like they look alike. And but no, by episode 3 or 4, they do not look alike. I could tell them
yeah.
apart.
You see the differences, and it's funny you say
Mhm.
that because our series producer, Jane, she's got a son, and he's also going through. He's a teenager, and she would see her son in Keo quite a bit. Um, so she'd be,
Yes, yes.
yeah, giving us notes, and then instead of using Keo's name, she'd use her son's name, and we'd be like, are you thinking of your son?
That
But
is
it's that
hilarious. Yeah.
relatability because he is
Sure.
finding his way, and you kind of feel for him because I mean, I'm not a parent, but I've got nephews. I know how I feel when I watch them struggling to do something and I just want to do it for them. But I
Yes.
realize, nope, they have to develop that muscle.
Oh, and Faith, that actually leads perfectly into my next question. So I know
Hmm.
several of our listeners, once they're watching it and stuff, they'll wonder this question. In fact,
Hmm.
I was telling my 9-year-old just kind of a little bit of the synopsis of it because I'm so excited to watch on the 19th with the whole family. But
Hmm.
he asked me this morning, taking him to
Hmm.
school. He says, "Well, can they intervene can the wildlife filmmakers
Hmm.
intervene when there's these struggles and there's some hard struggles for Keo and his family that they face in the wild?" So my question for you is, how hard is it to not do that?
Oh, it is. probably the hardest part of the job
Yeah.
because I'm obviously doing this because I love animals. And when it's one thing when it's human related, like a lot of the distress is caused by humans,
Hmm.
because that we report it straight away. We get the rangers involved and the vets, and they do come in, especially if there's been an injury, and there's intervention that's very clear cut. If a human caused it, humans have to fix it. But what's really tough though is when it's caused by other wildlife because we
Hmm.
can't intervene. We have to, as documentarians, just observe it and document it. And I'd love to say that I just sit there going, right, here's the little wall coming down. But it doesn't happen that way. I can't tell you how often I've sat there watching like one of like the animals struggling, there's no food, or
Yeah.
they've had a fight, or you can see something's about to happen, like another animal's coming in and is going to, it's not going to end well. And I'm just bawling, that's how I deal with it. I don't bury it or try pretend, nope, I've got this wall. I don't have a wall. I feel it very deeply. So I'll just sit there and just cry it out. A lot of the team are emotional as well, and we'll talk to each other, feel it, and try remember what this feels like and try channel it when I get to the edit and the stories and how we tell the stories and the beats. But it's difficult. There's no easy way to not intervene.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
no, I really sincerely appreciate that answer. But like you said, I think the feeling it and then using that for the storytelling, it
Hmm.
you definitely did that because I had all the feels watching this for sure. And
Thank
and
you.
that also leads me into the fact that the cinematography was breathtaking. From close up to Keo's pupils, where that's where I'm getting to know his markings and all of that, and his ears and his nose and the shape of his nose and his profile. But then to these sweeping aerial views.
Yeah.
So, what role did technology play in telling Keo's story so vividly?
Ah, thanks for that question. The cinematography team will be really thrilled that you asked that.
They did
Because
great.
yeah, because so much goes into it. So much goes into it because it's not as simple as kind of rocking up and going, right, we've got two cameras. We had this phenomenal director of photography, Sophie Darlington, who's essentially just cinematography royalty. And she's done this for a long time. She's filmed lions for
Okay.
many, many years, specifically in East Africa. So she brought that wealth of knowledge because she knew the behavior we anticipated to film.
Okay.
And so when she was putting all the pieces in place for the camera kit we'll use, because we needed to have something that shows the epic expanse of their world, but then we also needed to punch right into that big close up of Kyo's eye to really immerse you in that it had to feel intimate, It couldn't feel like we've got a distance from them. So we used probably one of the best cameras. Right now, the RE S35. We use drones as well.
Yeah.
And with the drones, we also had a, a long lens on the drone. I
Wow.
mean, it's not a super long lens, but it allowed us to be able to fly with that movement because we wanted to be able to move with them and create that dynamic movement. But a drone long lens helps you get right in there without being on top of the lions. It gives them a respectful distance. So we're able to observe, but then you feel like you're right there with them.
Yeah.
And then we also had what we call GSS, which is a big, this mechanized stabilization system. So that's where you get those shots where when the lions are moving, we're right there with them. When Summer is stalking,
Yeah.
like we're right there stalking with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that we even got those shots is kind of like unreal. That's how
Incredible.
unbothered she was by us. She was kind of like, because we would never be that close in a hunt. She came to us, and then she's like, "Right, I'm gonna start stalking now," and we're going, "Ooh, snap!" Um, but yeah, so it's using all those different elements to try and give us visual variety, but also to really just immerse us, again, coming back to that word, into that world and to show us just all the different elements of it.
Yeah, well, you nailed it for me. And I think many other people will agree. And so, Faith, what do you hope audiences will take away from Keo's epic journey, besides, of course, just storytelling and being entertained?
hmm Um, but we're just hoping that they'll fall in love with Keo. You know, that to them, he exactly like you say, you were able to relate things about him and you're able to see your son in him. That's all we could hope. You know, stir a little bit of affection
Yeah.
for Keto within the people's hearts, because what we're hoping that will do is it will inspire people to want to find out more about, even if it's just Keo, just getting on Google and going, where is Keo now? And because he's still out there, he's
Yeah.
still out in the wild. You can track him. And once that happens, people start caring. So if people can just care about lions and start start thinking, what can I do for lion conservation, then that's great. But it all starts with that feeling we want people to leave with, which is, man, I really love this lion.
Uh,
Um, and the pride.
yes, I love all of them. I saw myself in his mom's summer. Yeah, it was just fantastic. Uh, and now the Masai Mara is a place where wildlife and people do share some of the landscape. So, what does protecting lions look like when you have these communities that do live alongside them?
Mm-hmm. Well, it involves protecting lions will have to involve the communities as well. Um, because that's the reality, you know, the people, it's one of those things that's complex and it's got a bit of, not a bit, a lot of nuance in why those people are there in that specific area. And any successful program that is meant to protect the lions has to involve the people who live with them. And that's what we're hoping will change because for many years, the angle always seemed to kind of really platform and elevate the lions and worry about the welfare, and they're not really so much about the people.
Right.
But in trying to figure out what's the way forward for the people and the wildlife, everybody needs to be at the table, and it can't just be international organizations coming in and going, right, do this, don't do that, go here, move there, don't go there. It needs to be everybody at the table, kind of having that discussion and going, right, how do we fix this?
Right.
Yeah, how do we sort this out for everyone?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely very, very complex, and there's no
Mm.
silver bullet.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but after filming for all those hours, all those years, and just, of course, being from Kenya,
hmm
what gives you hope for the future of lions?
Ooh, I'm so hopeful because there's so many up and coming scientists and researchers, local scientists and researchers from the area who have taken great interest in just lion ecology and protecting them, and not just the scientists and researchers, but storytellers as
Yeah.
well, because storytelling has got a really important role to play I see it as an ecosystem,
Yeah.
like the whole conservation. It can't just be the science side of it. There's going to be a storytelling side of it. And kind of like what I said earlier, it's so important to have those locals telling these stories because they are going to be able to get people to the table way better than a story that's not made by someone from the community. And yeah, when someone feels heard or listened to or represented in something, you're able to have a sit down with them. And that's what we're needing right now more than anything, is for just everybody to just sit down at the table and to work together, not to kind of go, oh, that doesn't involve us, so we're not
Right.
gonna. sit down at the table. So yeah, that gives me so much hope and it gets me so excited. And the young filmmaker and not so young filmmakers have been making some fantastic stuff where you watch it and you go, yes, I am so pumped and excited
Yes.
for the future.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I've
Yeah.
got to give you a big shout out, Faith, because you are the founder of the Nuru Film Institute, and that's
Yes.
helping train and support the next generation of African wildlife storytellers and conservationists. So I was hoping you could just give me a brief background on what that is and the mission.
hmm Yes. Oh, so that's the overflow of everything I've been talking about and everything I've been doing. Because in being in these spaces, I mean, for a long time, and I still think this is the case, I'm the only like Black Kenyan or Black African that produces and directs on premium natural history series,
Mhm.
which, you know, to some may sound like a flex, but it's actually a really sad
Right.
statistic. There should be more people like me. But
Mhm.
the reason there aren't is because there isn't a pipeline. Like no one can go, this is what I need to do
Right.
to do the thing.
Right.
So that's what Nuru is about. I realized I'm in a really unique and I know privilege has become a dirty word, but it's at best kind of captures the position I'm in. But I'm in a privileged position where I'm able to chat to a lot of these people that are involved in the making of wildlife series. But I'm also able to talk about up and coming filmmakers, people who really want to work in this space. And quite often, a lot of the commissioners and production companies will want to work with locals, but they don't know like where do we even start
Yeah.
in finding the right person. And even if they do find the person doesn't have the right
Training.
experience. Yeah, and how do you train that without giving them the work? So it's like it was creating this problem, and that's been the problem for a long time. So I just went, wait, I'm in this position where I can actually create opportunities where the African filmmakers are getting experience, and I'm able to connect them, basically acting like a bridge
Yeah.
between the two, and going, right, you are making a documentary in Tanzania. Here's some amazing Tanzanian filmmakers, and they've got this experience. And so it's just taking away this problem of this chicken and egg problem
Yeah.
of experience. And so Nuru is very new. We were just ramping up slowly, but I am just blown away by just the volume of people who, especially young filmmakers who want to do this, you know, and my ambition in addition to Nuru is I'll inspire more people to be able to set up hubs like this and institutes so they can train everybody because we're not going to be able to train everybody in Nuru. But
Yeah.
it's exciting to see that the desire and ambition is there. Because quite often people go, well, you know, there's no one that wants to do this. It's like, nope,
No.
I can point you to people.
Right. We just got to find them and put them together and train them. So, no,
Yeah.
that's beautiful and very exciting. And then, yeah, so Faith, that leads into one of my last questions is what advice would you give aspiring wildlife filmmakers?
Ooh. One of the things I hear from a lot of aspiring wildlife filmmakers is, especially if someone comes up to me and they say, "Oh, I want to be a cameraman or a camera woman," I usually ask them, "Show me what you filmed. Show me just," and quite often the response will be, "Oh, but I'm waiting until I get this or I get that."
Mm,
So the advice I'd give them is start where you are with what you have. I mean, all you have could be a cell phone, but guess what? You can actually do a lot
yeah.
with the cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and access, you know, people will say, yeah, but I don't have a filming vehicle to take me out to the Mara or to the wilderness areas. You don't need to go to those places. You can go to your backyard and film the insects. You know,
Hmm.
use your phone, and you can actually do so much if you just unlock your creativity. So that's what I would tell them. Do what you can with what you have, where you're at, because what that's going to do is work that storytelling muscle and that technical muscle of being able to create a story out of just the most random things. And the reason that's really useful and stands you in good stead is when one day someone puts an ARRI with a CN20, which is the zoom lens that we use, the long lens, in your hands, um, the storytelling element is already there. So
Mm.
you just, the only challenge is how do I learn how to use this camera, which would be the easiest part of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically it. Just create, 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 and work that muscle. And the
Oh,
right opportunity will find you ready.
yes, I love that to work the muscle. And my 9-year-old's always filming with his just little handheld, and it's like for my 10th birthday, can I get an upgrade? Um, I
Amazing.
I don't think we'll be getting the one that you mentioned that you mentioned using for Lion, but maybe somewhere in between. So, but yes, like you said, just create, go out in your backyard, the insects, our garden.
Or
There's
flowers. I mean,
mhm.
it doesn't always have to be that you're filming animals. It could
Right.
be you're filming the story of that flower through the
Sure.
season. Like now it's
Yeah.
a bud, now it's
Mhm.
flowered. What's feeding from the flower? It's just kind of there's loads of stories that you
Yeah.
can use to work that muscle.
Yeah.
And I hope your son gets the upgrade.
Yeah, yes, a little upgrade, definitely. And lastly, Faith, where can people find out more about your work and also the Nuru Film Institute?
Oh, I'm very active on Instagram. I
Okay.
am right now in a season trying going right. I need to get to other platforms, but right now Instagram. So Instagram, my handle is famous, which
Mhm.
is a combination of my first name and surname. So FAIMUS, then an underscore. And then the Nuru Film Institute has its own Instagram page as well. So that's Nuru, Nuru Film Institute, all one word. Yeah, and I've got some stuff on the Instagram, the Nuru Instagram page that I think people would enjoy. And on my personal page, I'm going to be posting a lot of the blind behind the scenes, like that I
Oh,
shot on my cell phone. So I don't tell people use your cell phone just like that. I use it too. So yeah, a lot
well,
of fun behind the scenes.
wonderful. And we'll definitely put all that on our show notes for our listeners. And then, of course, you can always follow Nat Geo, Disney, Hulu. They'll keep you updated to more information.
Mhm.
And as Faith said, behind the scenes of this fantastic docuseries Lion. So, to all my listeners out there, please mark your calendars for Sunday, August 19th, when the docuseries Lion drops on Nat Geo, and August 20th when it drops on Disney Plus and Hulu. This extraordinary true story of Keo from cub to king, it cannot be missed. So, thank you so much for being with me here today, Faith. I appreciate your time and just your brilliant storytelling. So, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, and I love your reaction to this. I mean, and just
It's
how,
real. It's
yeah, how it just went in there. So,
yeah. I really I feel like I'm Keo's mother, so that's a good feeling.
good.
And I want to know like what he's doing right now. So I don't know if there's going to be a follow up or anything, but I would vote for a follow up of what is Keo doing now.
I mean, that's what we're saying. There should be
Hmm.
a lion too.
Okay, okay, good. As long as we're on the same page about that. But
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for your time. And if it's okay with you, can I get a quick screenshot for my social media channels?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I smile?
Oh, absolutely. All right. Perfect. Thank you. And we'll definitely share all of this on our social media platforms, and we'll tag appropriate people. And thank you, Premiere TV, for this opportunity. And thank you, Faith. I hope to keep in touch, and maybe we can talk again sometime in the future too about the Nuru Film Institute.
That would be amazing. And yeah, I'd love to stay in touch, especially if your son's interested in the filming, because who knows, maybe you could come out to Nuru.
Yeah, well, so yes, I've been blessed enough to spend time in Tanzania, Zambia, of course, South Africa. I have not been to Kenya, so it is very, very high on my bucket list. And I love lions. My husband's a lion guy. He trained
Mhm.
lions at the zoo.
Oh,
I was a
wow.
zebra. I was a zebra lady, so I'm the hoof and horn lady until I met Keo.
Mhm.
And so my favorite in the whole world are the endangered Grevy zebras.
I was
So
about to ask you if you know about them. That's I think they're stunning.
they're
I
incredible. They're
Yeah,
incredible, and there's only like 2,000 of them left, and people are working really
so
hard for them.
cute. Mhm.
So yeah, I really want to document kind of their journey and the people helping them as well. So yeah, let's keep in
Yeah.
touch.
Yeah, absolutely. On Chasing the Rains, I spent some time with the Grevies up in Samburu,
Yeah,
and so I think they'd make a fantastic story.
wonderful. Well,
Cool.
thank you.